Hey guys, I thought I'd go for a different angle and more of a close-up. Do you want your life to be more auspicious into the direction that you want to steer it? Well, you found the right YouTube channel. Okay, let's get going. So this video clip is on the basis of language, how words create our worlds. Why words do create our world? Do you want to know? Okay, you found the right video and the right channel because I've got the knowledge. Yes, I'm wearing the same jumper because I can, and I do not wear or present myself on the basis of getting external credibility for the way that I look, basically. And I feel comfortable in this jumper. Why am I justifying this? Who knows? Does Tony know? No, he's not bothered. But anyway, yeah. So, yes, my first point of this video would be, without words, what would you know yourself to be? Like, what would you be? Without the use of language and this linguistic construct that just creates and delineates frameworks that are very rigidly set, that you associate the self to be. Because without words, what would the you be? Do you ever think about this? No, because to think is to use words. You see how they've got us conditioned. Right, the conditioning is being gradually drip-fed into us to desensitize us to the subtleties of the heart, to get us encapsulated in the mind, more in the mind. The mind is polarized and the corpus callosum is divided. It's divided. Corpus callosum is shut down, which is the bridge to the gateway bridge to the two hemispheres, which then coils up like a conduit up to the higher transcendental realms, in which people say is God, what God is. But he's watching you. He's watching you. What? Look at me. I mean, just them. Anyways. So yeah, back to the point. So what would you know yourself to be without the use of this linguistic kind of constraints in which we've been limited to, which is very finite. It is very, very finite in its ability to know the self. See, once you recede, you retract what you are without the use of words. How can the mind know itself from reiterating the same notions that the words created of itself? And this leads into my second point. We are under exogenous influence, which means external. It's been a gradual inculcation of language and interpretations on the basis of what language can do and the power that it has. Poems are power, power. Spells, spelling, casting a spell, a pervasive spell in which subsumes the mind and occludes the heart. It impedes the ability to use the heart. That's why you have to recede, to reflect, to know what you are. When you're in nature, it's a good place to be, to do this. But anyways, so the phonetic alphabet is the external influence. We're phonetically conditioned. Phonetics is symbolism. Now symbolism induces a neural state of longitude and latitude, which is spatial awareness, which is a holographic illusion of that you are in a space. You are a corporeal, three-dimensional object confronting a world. You are that world. That's why the words create the world of separation, not conglomeration. And I'm using words to denote the effect. No, sorry, I'm using words to negate the effect of what you think you are through the words that conditioned you. See how it all works out? You just got to keep smiling though. So yeah, as a 3D effect, these words, because the symbolism, a symbol has this ability to do this, to have a three-dimensional effect in your mind, in the neural network of your mind, which then reflects itself back onto the reality in which you perceive to be the actuality, which is just a false version. The words kind of refract the actual reality of it, because how can the mind grasp what it is? And it tries to do this through words. Linguistically tries to do this. How can it do that? The mind's not words. The mind is just a projection in which you are animating and illuminating of itself through somewhere else. And that place is inconceivable and unfathomable to the degree of what words can also do. Because you're perceiving through words, you see. This is why you have to meditate. Meditation is devoid of ego. When you're devoid of ego, I'm talking ego in the false version of the ego, which I keep having to clearly state this, because there is a healthy ego, and I keep saying this in every video to really ingrain this in the mind. There is a system that's trying to subdue you and oppress you in your true healthy ego into thinking it's inferior, that it's not worth anything. What makes you unique version is the healthy ego. Anyways, back to the topic. A verb is a doing word. Which is rigidly, a verb is saying what you are doing, the doing of what you are, which is rigidly defining the you, of what you are doing. So it's creating a separability. By using a verb, you are basically implying to your mind that by using verbs, which are words, which are doings, that you are a separable doing of what the whole thing is of itself. And that's what verbs can do. It's a doing word. Like you're doing and going somewhere other than what you just are as a focal point of what it is. See, the words intersperse and compartmentalize a false state of a reality that then reflects back in. So it creates, it induces a state of distinguishing what you are as if you are facing this world. And that's why all these terms like conquer, like conquering, as if you're conquering something. You're conquering you. So you're impeding a part of you by thinking you're conquering this world. Because you are doing it. And words do this to us. And we are collectively under that conditioning of this linguistic construct. And it's very painful. Because the mind is very erratic at times. And it's oscillating. And it's oscillating too fast from the two hemispheres. It's bouncing from the two hemispheres. When it's in that state, it can't it can't be in a converged state of being. And when you're converged, then whatever God is can operate through you. But when you are disaligned and the hemispheres are disassociated from one another, and they're not harmonious and symbiotically operating, which shows you the true state of being, of what it is, because it's predominantly like masculine as well. Masculine, ma, the word ma, matrix, ma, is fleshly states of being, which is physical. Ma equates to flesh, which is physical temporal matters that are on a mundane state. They're being injected with this falsity, the physical, because the physical and what illuminates the physical is light, and light is being refracted in many methods. It's really deep stuff. Like, it's being refracted, manipulated, so you perceive a false reality from the basis of what you conceive, not like optically, and then through that neurally. And the words are another thing. Like, symbolism has a powerful subliminal effect on the basis of what you think you are, again. And all this is, it all corresponds to an agenda that's trying to do this to us. There is an agenda behind this. The governmente, its Latin roots, the origin of that word men is to control the mind. Governmente is governing you. They're governing you. Why are they governing us? Why do we need to be under dominion? Why are they using so much methodologies and superimposing this falsity upon the actuality? Why? Because we're obviously being used as a form of sustenance. It all implies that in itself. Why else would they want? Why would somebody want to oppress the true ability of what you are? For what reason? That means it frets a state of their being. It's threatening a state of their being. You have to think about these things in depth. Not many people do that because, again, words and thinking also operates in an erratic state, which is which is more sort of a stimulus, kind of transient, intervallic shot of something. That's why a lot of us are addicts as well. Because when the mind's erratic, we're trying to subdue the state of the mind through external forms of stimulus, because it's painful to experience, because we're not centered. And all that does is temporarily alleviate it, and then it recoils back in and out again. It just catapults itself forward, and it's even more erratic, because anything that you try to oppress will compress, and it will become more powerful. It'll come back even more powerful. So all these repressive mechanisms used through stimulus will only exacerbate the state of being. You have to really meditate deeply. I'll do a full video on meditation if this gets a lot of attention. So yeah, words create our words create our worlds, and there's only one letter difference in that, and that's the L. Word, world, word. In the beginning was the Word. What does that say? In the Bible, in the beginning was the Word. That means we was created not by God, because God didn't operate through words. This is like another subfractalized micro reality that's been imposed upon us, superimposed over us, like a veil and a curtain of deceit. And we've got to be very careful, because you've got to use words to uplift, not have a sense of superiority, which implies someone's inferior to you, which you're operating, again, in an elusive state, because everyone's on the same resonance, and if they think that they are better than you, that signifies, and it becomes prominent the more awake you become, that they are in a state of inferiority. They've got an inferiority complex, and to create atonement, feeling a false sense of atonement, compensate. They have to compensate for that. They have to dig at you. So you have to inferiorize the state of you, but you can't let it. You've got to be fortified, and you don't allow that permission to be. But they'll do that in order to feel better, a transient state of feeling better. It becomes vampiric, and all these words, and they feel inferior because of the words that are being put on them. See, words have the power to do this, but the words are not what we are. So no one should, any authoritative figure shouldn't have power over you because they're using words to do it, which are not what you are. It's an effect of a false reality. It's a symptom of a false reality that you are not. So guys, if anything else comes up and you are interested in this, I will do another video on it, because there is much more to it, where words actually come from and why words are actually used to create this contrived domain that is very limiting. See, when you're in a state of tranquility, right, you use words to your advantage to induce a state in somebody else for self-recognition, not for oppression or under some false sense of tyranny. So you don't use the words to attenuate any state that they may be in, to liberate and ascend them into a higher resonance. You don't, when you're spiritual, you don't use words for that intent. That's what you use words for. You don't use them for you don't use it for having a deprecating effect on someone, because any condemnation on them is what you think of yourself deeply within. You feel inferior and you're condemning you. It's self-induced, self-imposed to be without. So be careful with the words. And if this gets any attention, I will do a video on where phonetic alphabet actually, its actual origin, where it comes from and why it was actually created. Okay guys, that is it for now, because I am tired and I've done my best for this video. So guys, remember, it's all about love, and love doesn't come from any kind of notion or narrative which is on the basis of words. Okay, love is a feeling, and it's a state of omniscience. It's a state of omniscience which is omnipresent in all of you, and all of your apertoirs, which is this expression of what God is on a physical plane. Okay guys, I'm out. See you later.